to The Watchers, a show where two women from opposite ends of New Jersey watch movies and TV about the importance of learning to breathe from your diaphragm.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I don't believe that if Sam went through however many years of show choir, that she's not habitually all breathing from her diaphragm.
Yeah.
I haven't been in a choir since high school, and I'm telling you that you don't unlearn that.
I think we're supposed to be led to believe that, like, she was maybe more open in high school, and then as life got harder, she got more closed up again.
Right, and started breathing up higher.
Started forgetting how to breathe. I mean, that happens.
Well, that's true.
I'm Jodie.
I'm Andrea.
And we're going to talk about season 2 of Somebody Somewhere. Today. It is nighttime, and I have a bit of a rough voice. I was in New York all weekend. I was almost in New Jersey. I could see it. So close. I was hanging out with an old friend from Jersey, so that helps.
I love that.
Little Hackensack accent in there makes me very happy.
Yeah, I feel like we're both a little lower energy than usual, which might be nice for a change.
Maybe.
Give people a little break.
It could be incredibly boring and terrible, but we'll see. I'm drinking a tiny bit of coffee much later in the day than I should, so maybe that'll help.
I had a Diet Coke as part of my late lunch, so
there you go. So I think that we're obviously last week. If you didn't listen to last week's episode and you were interested in hearing us talk about this show, please go back and listen, because we're not going to go through the backstory of the show and like the bios of the cast and all of that. We're going to kind of pick up as if we were watching this in real time and we were just doing the next season. So we're going to talk mostly about the events of the season, the arcs that the characters go on, the things that stood out to us, how many times Andrea cried, when, how many per episode, etc. I think, so I'd written down a couple little notes of like how to set the scene for where we are at the beginning of season 2. So I think like we ended season 1 with that sweet moment with Sam and Joel. I don't remember the exact last scene, but that's definitely the like peak of the season where she sings to him, and they have that really sweet moment where it's not specified how much time has passed, but it's definitely some time has passed because Fred is away. He has been away on a sabbatical in Wisconsin.
I think he's been gone for 9 months.
It sounds like it, yeah. And a lot of stuff has changed around Sam's parents. So Ed is away on a fishing, like long-term fishing trip to the farm expedition.
I didn't know when because I watched, like I said, seasons 1 and 2 straight through overnight. Yeah. I didn't know until after that Mike Haggerty had died in real life. And so all of that made me cry just because of my dad's stuff, of course. Yeah. But watching it, I rewatched the season yesterday. And watching it, knowing that this time,
it's different.
Oh my God. It's so sweet that they, like I said last week, a little bit, that they give him this.
Yeah.
This
other ending. Yeah. Yeah. Because I honestly think most shows would have killed him off or something,
absolutely.
But they gave him this other sort of escape pod. Their mom, Mary Jo, has had a stroke and is in a care facility. Trisha is in the process of getting a divorce, not there yet.
Starting a new business.
Sam, Joel has moved in with Sam and he's Airbnb-ing his house. And yeah, so that's sort of where we come back to these friends. And I like that they make it very clear in the very first couple of scenes that Sam and Joel have basically spent every waking moment together of this last 9 months to a year because they have more inside jokes. They have like lots of silly quirks and mannerisms they've kind of developed together.
And little routines.
Yes. They go to the park, they get their steps, they play pound or pass. That's just the plan every time they get together. There's something really sweet happening where they have sort of this running joke, not joke, where Joel tells Sam that he loves her and she keeps not reciprocating because as according to her, she says, I don't have the infrastructure to go this fast, which is a great way of playing that.
I love, I don't have the infrastructure. It's so funny. That's like one of my first notes from this season.
Yeah, it's really good.
My first cry is they're at the park. I mean, to get their steps in, but also to check in on Roger.
Yes.
Oh, Joel,
yes.
You sweet
I know.
thing.
Joel's dog
Has to make sure that
the kid's doing well with him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that we didn't mention, which isn't as big of a deal because we'd kind of never see Shannon again, but Shannon's going off to college. So Trisha is sort of like alone, nearly divorced, trying to find her new life.
Yeah, it's funny. Before I knew about poor Mike Haggerty, the way they kind of have like gotten rid of a few characters, I was like, oh, it feels like they're kind of like thinning the herd to like.
Yeah, they did bring in a couple too. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, but I'm like, I was wondering originally if it was to make room for these other actors or if there's somebody.
Right.
Yeah.
Before we get too far into it, I do want to make one quick Mike Haggerty note because I watched an interview with the full cast right before I think season 2 came out, or most of the cast, and it was also with the writers or the 2 executive producers actually that we talked about last week, Paul and Hannah, and they talked about Mike Haggerty's audition. The tape he sent in.
Oh.
And they were like, it looked like he just put an iPad on the mantle and just spoke the words at the camera. And it was so perfect because it was like so flat affect Midwestern, like stoic man. Mm-hmm. He just kind of almost like he was just reading the words, but it was so perfect for what they wanted.
Right.
It was
hilarious.
So funny. Yeah.
And he's great. It doesn't,
I know.
I thought he was so good in season 1.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing I realized is in that interview, which I knew there was a decent amount of improv lines in the show, but how much so many of our favorite lines were improv based. Mm-hmm. So like when we get to Joel and his new beau and their first date, like a lot of that dialogue in the museum was improv because the guy that plays Brad, who we'll talk about, has a huge improv background, obviously. So
yeah, I want to talk about them, but we're not there
maybe
yet.
Maybe we should kind of like just briefly go through what happens in the first few episodes. Mm-hmm. And then when we get to the introduction of Brad and the sort of issues that Joel and Sam end up having, that's sort of the meat of this, mm-hmm. I almost said the semester. Good God. The meat of the season is, this sort of falling out that Joel and Sam have around his new relationship and mm-hmm. the way that he doesn't handle the communication part of that quite well.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like this first episode is just kind of like resetting and showing us just how close Joel and Sam are, like you said, so that we know what a big deal it is that this is happening.
It's also setting up some of the like conflicts in a way that you might not notice the first time you watch. Like mm-hmm. the fact that at one point Joel is talking about someone from his yoga class and Sam's like, Joel,
yeah,
NNP. No people.
Yeah.
And God, there was a time in my life where I was that possessive of my friends. And it's such a unpleasant feeling on both ends.
Yeah. It's not how you should be when you're being that way, but it can be that way. Yeah.
It's such a like jealousy, insecurity thing. Other stuff that's going on in that first episode, it's setting up the whole Sam and Trisha cleaning out the barn because Ed is gone and Mary Jo's in the care facility.
That is tough stuff.
It's tough stuff.
She says that line when she's like, I think it is in this episode when she's like, cleaning out, like doing this would break his heart. I didn't realize mm-hmm. it would break mine.
Yeah. And the fact that like we're seeing their silly friendship, Joel and Sam in the park, like, playing pounder pass. Mm-hmm. And then we're also seeing that like he's providing her with pretty significant support in a way that is the way she can handle it. So like she calls him from the barn and he says he can show up, he can be there in 20 minutes or whatever. And she's like, no, just, yeah.
She says, he says, want me to come out? And she says, just sit with me for a minute. And they do just sit. They don't, I think it shows too that like, it's slow going for Sam, and I like that. It feels really realistic, but that feels like something she wouldn't have been able to ask him in season 1 to say, like, just sit with me for a minute.
Yeah. I mean, I think before we started recording, I was talking about an interview I saw with Bridget Everett, where she said that, and this was, I think, a little bit more about season 3 than season 2, but it applies here too. This idea of growth against all odds, like that she is growing, even if it's extremely slowly, and that it's very, very, that there's pushback at every stage of it, like, and everything feels so like these huge obstacles put in the way. And then at the end of this first episode, Fred comes back. And we'll get to it with the next episode, but Fred's life changes are kind of the catalyst for a lot of the events of the rest of the season.
We talked last week about Trisha and how we grow to really care about her. And you see that in season 2. So I feel like now we can be a little more like direct about that. And the first like real moment of that for me is when she invites Sam and Joel over for dinner. She says, or what are you and your buffer doing?
Yeah.
You and your buffer want to come over for dinner. But then they have that conversation and Trisha's like, oh, if you get divorced at my age, you're basically dead, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And she goes off on this like thing that is so thoughtless, where she says to Sam, she's like, you've always been alone. You're good at it or used to it or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's like, how you're used to be. It reminded me of Don't Think a little bit of the scene in Don't Think Twice, where Keegan-Michael Key is talking about how badly he needs to get on SNL. And he's like, I mean, if I don't make it and I just keep doing improv forever, I'm going to kill myself.
Yeah.
And Gethard's like, oh, you mean if you have to live like us?
Live like him. Yeah. Or
and
them.
And it reminded me so much of that, of just like, it's just saying the cruelest thing to somebody, of being like, oh, that's just your reality, though. Like,
it comes up again later with their mom. The thing that got me in this, there's 2 things at the end of this episode that I just want to note. One is when Fred shows up at Sam and Joel's house, and you find out he's been staying in touch with Ed.
I know.
And that, like, you start to get a sense that the sort of connection, friendship, whatever, mutual respect, understanding that you see in those scenes with them has continued while Fred's been away. And that sets up a lot of stuff for later on, but it's also just very sweet.
Yeah, that's so good. The other thing I love about this scene is they invite Fred to do this dance to the song that they already have. They like have a little practiced routine that they do to the song because they live together. And because they live together,
yeah, they text each other from bed, from other rooms in the house, which is something that anyone who's ever had a roommate that they've been close friends with, has done. I
still do it. I'm 40 years.
I know. Yeah. I still do too. And I'm not with a roommate, but like literally I was on the bus to New York. My friend / coworker was sitting across from me and the students were being super loud. And I just texted her across the aisle. I was like,
so fun.
They're really awake right now. Like, there's just something fun about. It was very goodnight, John Boy, calling to each other from opposite rooms. Like when I go away with my girlfriends and at the end of the night where I was like, okay, good night, like down the hall.
It just feels nice. And it's so sweet that they have that. And he texts her, I love you. And she just sends back that like GIF reaction.
Yeah, it's more than once in the first episode we see that he is being openly loving and affectionate towards her, and she is openly resistant in a way that clearly says that she also loves him but doesn't want to or isn't able to say it.
I like to think, I mean, that stuff is still not easy for me either, but I do think I'm a little further ahead in my journey than Sam would not be. If Sam co-hosted this podcast with you, she would not be openly crying multiple times an episode.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I've gone from like Sam to Joel. Like I was home this weekend with a bunch of old friends that I hadn't seen in a million years. And I was like throwing I love yous out like to everyone and all the time because I don't know. I finally like let go of that.
I've got a little bit longer on my journey, but I'm getting there.
So should we move on to
episode 2, which is number 2? I'm so not. I know last week I said like sympathy puke makes me laugh really hard. I'm not a potty humor person. It's just not.
I'm not either.
But they handle it it just in this episode, once I realized what the bit of it was, I was like, all right, fucking fine.
They're so giggly about it.
Yeah. And it really is like cementing that
bond.
But before we get there, they're so good at like little stuff, like when we find out now that Fred and Susan are engaged. Joel is like over the moon. He thinks it's wonderful. He's really into this, like, that kind of like traditional.
Yeah, he's a church guy. He's a love guy. Like, it's the thing that he and Trisha have in common. She kind of loses it for a moment, but comes back to it. This idea of like believing in and seeking out like a romantic relationship.
Right.
And yeah, we meet Susan. She comes down and apparently no one knew she existed. Even though she's been in Fred's life for quite a long time in some capacity. And
that is crazy. It's like 25 years.
Yeah. Well, they weren't together for 25 years,
but
though.
Like, I think they were like an off and on kind of like.
Yeah, but I think for a lot of that, she was like, I almost said playing straight. I'm sure she wasn't playing straight, but she wasn't like ready to be in a relationship with him. But what this does is it prompts a conversation about this between Sam and Joel. Right. And we're kind of starting to see ways that this could affect their friendship. But Joel says, like, because Sam says, if I get to the point where I can't, whatever, like tie my shoes or something, like put a pillow over my face or put a pillow over my head. And he's like, and he says, I'll tie your shoes for you.
Yeah,
which is like,
tie your shoes for you.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Like, he is outright saying to her repeatedly that, you know, he's not going anywhere, but her script, as we have said, is like, everyone's going to leave me.
Right. Everyone's going to disappoint me.
Yeah.
Yep. And then he says, tender moment alert. And she says, farts out, get me out of here.
It would only be better if she was walking around with a soundboard. We get an interlude with the mom. So I feel like, I don't know how much you feel like sharing about this, and we can cut all of this, but the fact that we both have moms who've been within the care, I always think of it, I say it in like the way that British people talk about it, because nursing home just sounds terrible, but like care homes or care facilities, we both have mothers that currently are in them and have been for a while. And we've both experienced the like regular indignities, difficulties, paperwork, nonsense, like bureaucracy that goes with that, right?
Right.
And so,
and also, again, I don't know how much you want to say about this, but like, I have a very complicated relationship with my mom.
Yeah,
so,
as do I.
And I'm the like sole person.
As am I.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have all of that in common with, we just don't have a Trisha to help us out sometimes.
Exactly. I could use a Trisha.
Yeah.
Because I could not tell you how much I related to Sam's relief when her mom had banned her.
Oh, yes. 100%.
She was like, hell yeah. You're the favorite, Trisha. You go handle it.
So funny.
Yeah.
The way she's like, basically is like whistling. Like she's so excited to leave.
Yeah. So I just, you know, there's the dad stuff and then there's the mom stuff, and both have their resonances.
Yep. I think it's in the episode before when Sam goes for the first time and the guy at the desk says, "You must have stories."
Yes.
I was like, oh boy.
Relatable.
Oof doof.
Relatable.
Yeah. Yep. So.
But we kind of jump around a little bit, but this episode really is setting sowing seeds, I think, for later on. So they're at the chef or whatever with Fred, and he says that he wants Sam to sing at his wedding and Joel to be the officiant, and both of them are like terrified and just like try to like change his mind immediately.
Well, it's funny, I was starting to say it's perfect and a little convenient that the two things they're asked to do are the things they're struggling with right now, but the reason they're struggling with those things is because they're so important to both of them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
they're so central to who they are that of course Fred is going to ask them that.
Right.
Yeah, so immediately, Sam's thing with it is that like she doesn't sing that type of music well. I don't know if we find this out just yet, but Fred wants Sam to sing Ave Maria, and she's just like can't do that.
Yeah, she's like these like sweet little notes. She says it's like too light, and it's interesting where that sort of comes from.
Well, and Joel's hesitation is that he's left church, right? Like he's not sure what his relationship is with God, so he doesn't want to stand up there and, be a representation of that.
Right. I tried to figure out why Ave Maria.
I have no idea.
I don't think it's even like, oh, that's an alt. Like lots of people who don't want to lock down. Like I was like, I wonder what it feels like there's got to be something like how some of the stuff is so specific to either Sam's life or Hannah and Paul's. I'm like maybe there's something there because it was such an odd choice.
Yeah. Yeah. In the interview I was talking about, one of the people asked a question. One of the viewers asked a question about where they got the idea to do the testing center as a job plot. And Paul was like, I had that job. Like a lot of it just comes from their lives.
That's so funny.
But we get a brief interlude of them in like a sex shop acting like we get a lot of like references to how close they are, but there's a line.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's not sexual, but they're like super, super close. We find out that Trisha is currently working in the supermarket while Charity is now in real estate. It's an indignity for Trisha.
She's really good at, she does it. We get to see it a few times. This is one. She's so good at throwing a tantrum. Like we see her freak out in the car at one point.
Yeah.
We see her here when she's like putting the fly swatters in. She goes nuts. She's just really good at that. It makes me laugh every time.
And I like to see that, like, because this is supposed to be a small town, like, if you leave a job in a small town, there's only certain other jobs, right? And so it's realistic. Like, Sam's working at a jewelry store for someone that she clearly knew beforehand. Yep. Charity's selling houses, and Trisha's at the supermarket. So, and Jeff is Airbnb-ing. Joel is Airbnb-ing his house. So they all went on to something that makes sense for that type of small town.
Absolutely.
Well, to that end, like whoever the guy is that she's working for in the jewelry store, I think it's his kid that takes voice lessons. And Sam asks about who she takes lessons from. She finds out that it's Darlene, who was her voice teacher, finds out about the recital that's coming up. And that triggers her and Joel going there.
Okay. I want to talk about this recital. Why is this happening? And it seems like the afternoon with all of the lights on in that theater.
The lights are a bit much.
Would never.
It reminds me though of like, so when I was in band until 8th grade, not in musicals, but I was in like the regular like middle school band or whatever. And have I told you this before?
I don't think so.
What instrument do you think I played?
Clarinet.
Close.
Oboe.
No.
Flute?
I only say close because of the size of the instrument. I played flute.
Flute, okay. I'm actually not sure because I played flute for a very short period of time. I just didn't have I didn't have the infrastructure for it, but
yeah. But I say the only reason I bring that up is because I do remember specifically like our 8th grade recital, the lights were up like that, and it was just like, why?
That's so
I don't know.
Weird. Not us, not in my bow tie, my cummerbund.
Yeah.
We had to set the scene.
Well, most of my other like recitals were dance recitals where there was definitely lighting.
It's so odd. Darlene in her little sparkle jacket is so high school band teacher or theater, like not like
I wasn't even in any of that, and I know that person.
Just
like,
a little flashy,
Yeah.
Like,
but also like heart meltingly sweet in a way that like we see later on, like the number of lives that she's been interacting with over the years and how much they love her. Yeah, it's really, really sweet. So they go to the recital. There's not a lot of people there, but I loved that they milk. This is what I think I'm realizing when talking about these episodes is they milk so many significant moments that are like so subtle out of each scene. So the two of them are sitting there watching the recital, and her boss's daughter goes up and sings a song that clearly Sam has sung before, and she starts to get emotional about it. And Joel notices and is like,
of course he does. He's always noticing. So much of this show, and I noticed it especially on the rewatch, is him like kind of just looking at Sam and reading her. It's really lovely, especially for Sam, who's probably somebody who's never felt really like seen before. You know?
Yeah. That's also probably why it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I love that she says when he asks her about the song, she's like, he's like, why do you know all this? And she's like, it satisfies my depressive side.
Yeah.
I feel you, girl.
But then we get to see our first glimpse of Brad.
Yeah. Man, amazing. They do such a good job rolling his character out to us.
Yep. Little bit at a time.
Much older person.
Yep.
He's singing his heart out. He's not good.
No, but he is putting it all out there.
That's right.
He's got no, he's like literally in some ways, I'm just formulating this thought right now. In some ways, he is the opposite of Sam in that he doesn't have that blockage that she has. Like, he's not a good singer.
No, but he's so open.
But he doesn't care. He's just so open and so like free in who he and so comfortable in who he is.
Totally.
Now, anyway. Right. I think that there's a lot of indications that he wasn't always this way.
That's such a good point.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that more in season 3, but that's such a good point.
But Sam goes and talks to Darlene. They, she did the thing that I did with my high school photo teacher where I was like, I'm not sure if you'll remember me. And they're like, duh.
They're like, I've had 5 good students in my life. Like,
well, with me, it was like, you took my class every semester for 4 years and you were my assistant and you worked in the lab and our photos in the yearbook together. Yeah. Yeah. But they set up a meeting. Mm-hmm. And we meet, Joel meets Brad. And gets introduced to something called St. Louis sushi.
St. Louis sushi.
I would never put that in my mouth.
Absolutely not. I mean, even if I ate meat, I'm not. I just, what I couldn't stop thinking about? And now that we know Brad, it's okay. But just this weirdo big mouth singer touching deli meat with his hands and rolling it around. Like, how did he make that without getting his like?
There's clearly he didn't.
And then it does. Yeah, exactly. And then it doesn't get cooked.
No.
So, like...
Yeah.
It's not happening.
Yeah. Well, we find out pretty quickly that he did not take precautions
and they deserve
in sanitary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. To St. Louis sushi, just to remind us, is ham wrapped around a pickle and cream cheese. I famously don't like cream cheese.
They're addictive, he says.
Yeah, I don't believe that. I don't like cream cheese. So this whole thing sounds horrible to me. But
I love pickles.
I love pickles.
I like cream cheese enough.
Yeah.
I haven't eaten deli meat in, I truly have no idea how long.
But they eat it. And they kind of are already starting to, they've been making fun of Brad this whole time. And this sort of St. Louis sushi thing is just another thing to add to the list of like, at this point, he's another one of the characters that they play off of when they see them in the park, right?
Like, yeah,
he's
exactly.
a stranger with a funny quirk that they're going to like reference in jokes for a while.
Exactly.
And then we go back home with Sam, and she's listening to some tapes of her singing with her sisters, which is very sweet.
I tried to figure out. I think that song is original for this.
Oh, really?
I could not find anything about it. And all I could find were other people looking for it and saying, like, it seems like maybe it's like a song that Sam wrote when she was younger and had them singing. I couldn't find anything.
That would make
listeners,
sense.
If you know this song, please let us know. But I just couldn't. And I looked. So
well, and I found out that, and you may have already known this. I don't know if I knew for sure, but that Bridget Everett wrote the song that she sang to Joel at the end of last season.
I didn't know about that one specifically, but all of the like big body songs she sings are
but the sweet one was her as well.
That's really nice.
Apparently that was she didn't let Jeff hear it until they filmed. And so a lot of that reaction that we see is his actual reaction because he and Bridget had become closer and closer friends throughout the season.
Oh, I love that it mirrored. Of course it did.
Mm-hmm. And they were living together throughout the filming with Murray Hill. Can you imagine living in a house with Murray Hill, Jeff Hiller, and Bridget Everett?
No.
Would you ever stop laughing?
Yes, I think about it all the time or whatever he says with imagining.
It's a dream. But yeah, so anyway, all that to say, she's listening to these tapes, and then we get... The rest of the episode is essentially one big poop joke.
It's so gross. The reveal, I hate a poop joke. I don't ever think it's funny. I hate the sound effects are so upsetting.
I know. They're so like vivid.
But the thing that there are a couple of things that like made this one a little more like I was like fine for me. One is the way they reveal that Joel is also sick.
Yes.
Where you don't realize at first.
Yeah. You have no idea what's happening at first at all. Yeah. And then it's like one reveal after another.
That really got me. And that when she drops her phone.
Yes.
The thing that I love about this is that by the end they're both laughing so hard. Mm-hmm. It's like, and it's funny because this episode also at the recital, it's like my two favorite kinds of laughs. It's the recital, it's the church giggles where you know you shouldn't be laughing, and you know if you make eye contact with your friend, it's over.
Yep.
And then those big, like, can't breathe.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's another instance of like that super like intense type of friendship where everything is a future inside joke. Everything is an event that you're going to talk about like a few years later.
Right. Immediately. As it's happening, you're like, oh, this one, we're locking this one down.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But that's the end of that episode. We go right to Sam's lesson with Darlene, basically. And it starts this whole sort of theme of Sam not being able to like really breathe. Metaphorically and physically from her gut.
Mm-hmm. And we get the first time of her saying, we have our work cut out for us.
Yes. Yeah. There's like at first to me it seemed just like that it was mostly just Sam's resistance to feeling anything, but then there's something kind of else going on with Darlene and her there.
Yeah, the show is so careful and thoughtful in a way that I didn't even really notice the first time through how careful and thoughtful. Because like Sam singing makes Darlene cry.
Yeah,
this first time, which is like fine, but then when you know that whatever's going on with Darlene, she's not. And I love how subtle this show is. They kill her, and it's like, well, I mean, it sort of explains why it's so important to her to help Sam unlock right now. You know, like, and it makes sense that she's so moved by Sam singing more than almost seems like.
Well, and it feels like there's this complete different way of viewing the same exact time period between the two of them, right? Because Sam was a kid and was sort of taking on everything negative, making everything personal, feeling really bad about herself. And, you know, Darlene is looking at this young, talented child and feeling very like, you know, inspired by her and things like that.
She really knows that. Yeah. And like, it's funny too, because I that is something that I really love about this little thing, because it shows how important your words are, especially to a younger person. But it is like, you know, it's so hard when you're a young person to hear something like that as anything but negative. And then as an older person, I'm like, yeah, obviously you're not the world's best singer yet. Yeah. Like you're a kid.
Yeah. Because we jump back and forth a couple times. We go to Darlene's twice in this episode, but like you were saying, the second time around, she's trying again with the breathing, and it comes out that at some point Darlene had said, you have a heavy voice and you have a lot of work cut out for us. And like, that's something that, you know, it seems like she probably said and did not mean it at all to be anything other than like something you say to, and something that you would say to most kids. We have a lot of work cut out for us, but it like stuck to her for the rest of her life.
Well, and I can't say for sure that Sam has ADHD, but one thing about kids with ADHD is that they get, I forget the number of more negative feedback than their peers. And so then any feedback that can be taken as negative is going to be, because you're more so. Yeah. And I'm sure that's true for lots of other, highly sensitive people, which Sam would deny it, but she absolutely is.
100%.
You texted me on the rewatching. You said, like, I forgot what a raw nerve.
She's a raw
exposed nerve Sam is this season.
Yeah. In addition to getting the interactions with Sam and Darlene as a part of this excursion, Joel is going with her and waiting on the porch on this little porch swing. And guess who shows up?
Brad.
Good old SLS.
Oh, right. SLS. Yes.
Yeah. But like immediately we start to see that Brad is like weird, but maybe in a good way.
Yeah.
Like not in a bad way, like maybe in a funny way and like a smart way. And We have two scenes. Once where they're talking to each other on the porch swing, and it's like they're curious about each other, it seems like maybe, but it's really awkward. And then the second time, they start to really talk because Brad is holding a piece of driftwood. This is the most, look at this rock I found.
Yes.
Like,
it's so cute.
Oh my God. My friend Erica and I always talk about how, like, we are the people that will, like, find a rock on the ground and be like, look at this rock I got for you. And, like, it's the most, like, it's the most sincere gesture of, like, I was thinking about you, But we also find out that he's a social studies teacher.
Yeah.
He is an 8th grade social studies teacher who looks so much like my 8th grade teacher, but, like, less mean and scary.
Oh, really?
But the very similar look.
Funny.
Yeah. So we start to see, like, that maybe he's actually quite funny and interesting and, like, cares about people, and maybe it's not so bad.
I love the more we get to know Brad. He's so, like, deadpan.
Yeah. Like what you were saying about how there's, like, these little slow reveals of who he is. We get these different ideas of what he is, and each time it's, like, evolving.
Yes. Yeah. It's really, like, smart and subtle and fun.
Yeah.
And, like, every time we get a new scene with him, I'm like, oh, we're going to learn a new little thing about Brad, probably.
Yeah.
The next, like, big thing after the first scene at the barn is back to the Darlene and the vocal warm-ups. But there is a small moment in between where you get Joel and Sam watching TV together, and you find out that Joel is a TV talker and Sam is not. Yep. But the most important thing there is, why are they sharing that Vicks Vapor Rub, and why are they both using it right now? Like,
again, they are an old married couple without the married couple. Like,
so funny.
Yeah, I know.
Because neither of them even question. Like, not only are they sharing the same tub,
they've done it before.
Yeah.
No, I know the TV talker thing. I was like, oh God. Mm-hmm. Yeah, when she pauses the TV and just looks at him and is like, okay,
yep,
go ahead,
go on, get it out of your system.
Yeah. We also find out that Amy Sedaris, of all people, has reposted Trisha's lying cunt pillow on Instagram.
Is it just that I was looking back through Amy's Instagram to be like, oh, that would be a fun little tie-in if they'd done that at some point, and they haven't. But she had done, like, some sort of panel with Bridget about the show where she, like, led, or maybe not a panel, but, like, a Q&A with Bridget. And she also, like, posted a couple of times, just like, new episode. I didn't see her name in the credits anywhere. It's not like she's involved that way.
No, but I'm sure that, I mean, she's one of the most New York people, like, and so is Bridget, and so is Murray Hill. I'm sure that they were in the same circles, or around the same age too.
Yeah, I was just wondering if she had any other involvement than
Not that I know of.
She's a great one for that, though, because she does share so much on her Instagram of things that kind of tickle her. So
yeah.
But yeah, so it's gotten Trish it's gotten Trish's Finsta, her fake Instagram, some attention. But who's Amy Sedaris?
Yeah.
After their little TV time, we're back with Sam and Darlene, and it's in this scene where she's doing those scales that she can't do, and you learn that and she says again, we still have our work cut out for us. And Darlene says, like, why do you keep saying that? And that's when Sam tells her, like, you said that when I was a kid. And my only thing there is that, like, I wish Darlene had apologized.
Yeah.
She doesn't. She just explains where she was coming from, which is good for Sam to know. But I just think a sorry might have gone a long way there. I don't know. Maybe.
But the other major plot point, I guess, that we are getting in this episode is with Trisha and Sam and their mom. Mm-hmm. And then also Trisha is in this episode in two different ways, really, because, like, Fred and Susan show up at the barn when Trisha's there, and she finds out they're getting married and, like, pitches them on hiring her as their wedding planner with her new company, Trish Upon a Star.
You know what I love is that she's good at it. Yeah. There's a different version of a show like this that's not as good, where, like, part of the joke or whatever is that she's struggling and really wants this thing to work and it doesn't. Yeah. But no, Trisha's good at her job. Like,
she is.
In a small town way, like when we see the stuff that she's, but
Denim and Diamonds.
Yeah, exactly. But that's good for this area, like this town.
But I also like that Fred and Susan are into it.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, it all
they're, regardless of who they are and who society says they are, like, they want this, like, cute Midwestern wedding at a barn with, like, a fun theme.
I forget what it is that Trisha tells Sam in this moment. Is it about her starting the... I don't remember, but Sam just says, you know, I don't retain information, Trisha.
Oh,
like, that's why I forgot.
Yeah. I think it is about the business, but I'm not sure either.
Yeah. I also don't retain information.
Exactly. Yeah. But they actually, like, I think, kind of like the idea. And you can, again, it's the jealousy thing. Like, Sam does not want the different parts of her life liking each other or knowing each other. It's like, this is mine, and then this is mine, and then this is mine, and they're not yours. Right. But the other thing that's going on is shit's getting worse with Mary Jo. There's this run of episodes around the Mary Jo stuff that's happening where it's getting, like, more and more difficult to watch because Trisha and Sam show up and they find out
I'm sorry if it's annoying for you people that you have to listen to Jodie and I just work through some mom stuff here on the podcast together, but it is remarkable. As you just said, the dreaded of like, you think you're just going to see your mom and
you get a conversation about something they've done that is unacceptable. And so, like, you know, there's behavioral things that have happened with Mary Jo since her stroke that even though she's not drinking anymore, she's belligerent, she's angry, she's difficult, she's, you know, saying...
She's smoking now?
She's smoking, yeah. And she's, you know, lashing out at her kids even more than usual. And they're telling Trish that them being the people that run the facility, that they cannot care for her if she's in this state. She has to go to a different facility, get her medication straightened out for her psychiatric issues, and then maybe she can come back. And oh my God, like the weight and discomfort of that whole, like, you know, it's so hard to even find a place for someone to be when you don't have $1 million. Yep. And then when they say, like, I mean, just personally, like, I have lived in fear many times of, like, my mom getting kicked out of somewhere.
Right.
And then having to find a new
out
place.
Of places. Or when they said, like, you know, she could come back in a few weeks. I'm like, I don't trust it.
I know.
I don't trust it.
I know. Yeah. And so it's in Wichita. It's not close. It's still in Kansas, but it's not like in the same, they can't pop over.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then Sam and Trisha drink warm wine out of a bottle from Sam's truck.
It's so good.
In the parking lot.
I love that she Sam honks the horn to, like, celebrate that Trisha's drinking.
Yeah.
That really made me laugh.
Yeah, their relationship has its peaks and valleys, but they're best when they're being, like, just chaotic, and you can see the younger versions of them.
Yes.
And how, like, they were probably, like, pretty like troublemakers when they were on their own together. Yeah.
The last scene we have with Sam and the voice lessons, it's the third one, is when Darlene puts her hand on Sam's chest and on her side and is helping her breathe. And she says, Sam finally gets it. And Darlene says, isn't that a beautiful feeling? It's like the first time you fall in love. And that's what really breaks Sam down. She starts crying. She doesn't really know why. And she, like, runs away.
Sam is obviously sort of disturbed by this conversation, as you would be. She's at home, kind of laying on the couch. Joel comes home and convinces Sam to go on a nature walk.
It's not a steps walk. It's a nature walk.
No. Yeah. And it's, again, he's kind of seeing what she needs and doing it. And they end up talking along that walk, and she sort of, in the same, like, 2 minutes, she pees in front of him and then somehow gets herself to admit that she's never been in love.
Right.
And I just wrote in quotes, because what Joel says to her is, "You're tender," as they go to get ice cream together after she admits it, and then immediately wishes she could take it back.
She says, but right before she pees, she says, "You're the only person I know that would do anything for me." And he just gives this, he's so unwavering. It reminded me of, he just gives this like solemn little nod. He doesn't say, he just, yeah, I would. And she makes a joke of it. But it reminded me of last season when Trisha says like, who would have known this one would have such beautiful handwriting?
And he says, I would.
I would.
Yeah.
It's just nice.
That's kind of it for that one, I think. Right?
Yeah.
We kind of pick up right after this in the next episode. Sam and Joel are getting ready in the morning, and she's going with Trisha to take her mom to Wichita.
He gets her some road snacks, and he says, "I just want to make today a little easier for you."
Yeah, yeah.
He's just perfect.
But we do see again that possessiveness, right? Like she says, she doesn't want him to get steps without her.
Yeah. Yep.
Which is like, I think it's so cringy for me just because I know I've been that person in my 20s where it was like,
Well, it's a little, Arrested Development going on with Sam a little bit.
Yeah. It's this sense of like ownership, but also it's because of so much insecurity that it's like grasping onto this person.
Exactly.
I loved Trisha so much in this next bit.
She's great here.
Because they go to pick up their mom to drive her to Wichita. And Sam is like, they find out that it's on them to tell their mom that she can't stay in this place. And they're like that day taking her to a new facility.
Yeah, because she says, first of all, she's worried that people are going to steal it, whatever. She says, like, we'll go back. I'll drive back tomorrow and get the rest of my stuff. Yeah. Which is just like so much going on there.
I know. But when they realize that she doesn't know, Trisha says, because Sam doesn't want to say it, Trisha like opens the door of the car, says, "Hey mom, you're not going home. You're going to Wichita. You've been a nightmare and we have to fix your meds. Okay?" Closes the door.
If she thought about it for half a second, she wouldn't have been able to do it. It was very much like rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. They have a very sibling moment here where Trisha makes Sam drive, and Sam's like, "You hate my driving." And then Trisha says, "Just drive." And then Sam, and her line delivery is so good. She's like, "Well, don't pick on me." It's like so young.
Yeah. But so the drive to Wichita is so painful to watch.
It's really bad.
Because their mom is just being like emotionally abusive.
Yeah, you can see who she is. The thing that I try to have a little sympathy, I don't have sympathy for, but it must be really hard to feel like you used to be the parent. You were bad at it though, MJ, and now you're being parented by your kids. And then she says like, "You're not my mother." Fine. But it's also like, well, you were mine and you did a bad job, so I don't know what to tell you. But then she does that thing where she just says the meanest thing she can think to say to each one of them.
Yeah. She says, she looks at Trisha and says, "Your husband left you," and looks at Sam and said, "And you've never, ever even had a husband."
We're still not getting cigarettes for you, Mom.
Yeah. But also she had a stroke, and like that can change people's personalities, and or it can bring out like the worst parts of them. So,
I think that's what it is, because they don't seem very surprised by this. I think it is just like,
it sounds like this is who she was when she was drinking.
Yeah. That's the impression I get, is that like she's the kind of mom where you probably didn't know who you were going to get from day to day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now they know who they're going to get from day to day, and it's just
it's just the bad version.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you want to just finish that section and then clump the rest?
Contained.
Yeah. So they get to the hospital at Wichita, and like once again, God bless nurses. Like they basically like give them an out almost, like, because you can see Sam and Trisha being like, "Do we have to bring her inside too?" And like, "Oh God, like, how much longer is this going to go on? This like torture." And the nurse is like, "Well, some people want to come in with them, but like, you don't have to, blah, blah." Like, they gives them an out. Yeah.
And a non-judgmental one, just like,
yeah.
And so they're like, "Well, see ya."
Yeah. If any of our listeners are nurses, you are the best ever. But then we get that sort of heartbreaking scene when they're talking in the car afterwards.
You think the good part of mom is ever going to come back?
And she just says no. But it's a horrible thing to feel, but also to me, it's in a way, it's like a really sweet moment, because Sam and Trisha have a joking way of working with each other that is like their version of affection. And it's what we've seen of the two of them is either combativeness or that sort of joking affection. And this is a very like sincere, nothing kind of around it to take the sting off, you know, moment of conversation.
That's right. And then it does immediately pivot to the like
the cunt pillows,
new cunt who dis. And
yeah.
But I really love watching them like become sisters again this season. It's so nice.
Well, and you know, I think a big part of that is acting, but also the fact that in real life, Bridget Everett and Mary Catherine Gallagher have known each other for a million years, lived together, were like best friends, and so they have a little bit of a sister vibe already.
That's totally.
But then we get a really sweet sort of like Joel sort of stalking awkwardly Brad, like skulking outside his church.
So funny, so awkward, because he saw the name on Brad's bag. He knows what church he goes to.
I loved it.
But he does get out of the car and they do talk, and it's really cute. Their like little courtship or whatever feels so real in a way they don't always in TV and movies.
It's so stop and start and awkward and like feeling each other out.
Yeah, exactly. And when like Brad is like trying to like, oh, do you want to come in? Do you want a cookie? Do you want? He's like trying to, and it's like this little, you know, the Gottmans or the whatever, doesn't matter, but it's a little like bid for connection. And finally he offers gum, and that's something that Joel can say yes to because he wants to. And then that's what gets Brad to suggest they go for a little walk.
I know.
And then Joel turns his
pedometer thing off.
Because
he says you won't get credit for your steps. But this is where, so you texted me about this when they're talking on their little walk, and we find out that Brad knows he can't sing. He doesn't care.
I love that.
He doesn't care.
It makes me want to take voice lessons, Jodie. I was like, that's so. He doesn't care. He loves doing it.
Yep.
He thinks it's good for the young kids to see an older person put themselves out there.
Yeah.
Like, it made me fall in love with him.
Yeah,
it's so,
absolutely.
And it made me also want to be a less judgmental person in general, because they're like laughing at him at the recital.
Yeah.
But he knows it's not, he's so self-aware about it. I loved it. I've just never seen somebody like that on screen. It was like,
I know.
I loved it so much.
Well, and I think it makes Joel fall in love with him too in that moment, because he's just like, at first he thinks, oh, you know, this poor guy doesn't know like that, you know, people are making fun of him or whatever. And then you realize, oh no, this guy's fine. Like he's comfortable in himself. He's doing this because he wants to. He doesn't give a shit if like you think he can't sing. He knows he can't sing.
It's like genuinely inspirational.
Yeah.
It's like, it's so cool.
But they have good banter. You know?
Yeah, they really do.
And Joel admits that he finally admits like that he knew
I love
what he was doing.
That he confesses pretty much right away, as soon as he can.
Yeah. He asks Brad if he's ever blessed an animal. And Brad says, no, have you? And he said, yeah, I did a goat once. He said, you blessed a goat? That's pretty cool, but you know, nobody likes a bragger.
He's genuinely funny.
He's genuinely funny.
And
in the most deadpan way.
Yeah, his character feels so real. They do such a good job with him. Like I never hear him say anything that doesn't feel real coming out of his mouth. It's so good.
Yeah, I saw a sweet interview with him where he said, like, you know, you don't ever, as someone that is his age and looks like him, you don't get to have like a courtship on a TV show that is this like sweet and heartfelt. You know, he's, I guess, often the comic relief or the side character. Right. And to get to play this with, and Jeff Filler said the same thing about his side of it, you know?
Yeah, it's really lovely. Just the two of them sitting on that bench together. I could watch it forever.
I know. We get a brief interlude where we find out that they are going to host the wedding at the barn. Sam is okay with it. But then this is sort of, it's episode 4. This is sort of the turn, right? Yeah. Joel comes home from his date and lies to Sam about where he was.
We get a letter from their dad in this episode that's really sweet. But something I wanted to say about that is the way that scene is shot, and there are a few throughout the season that reminded me of, it took me a while to nail down, but it reminded me of Patterson, where there are all these moments that could, in a different movie or show, turn into something bigger and be a moment of conflict. And like, for some reason, just the way that, because he's like, the wording of the letter is like, I wasn't sure where to send this. I figured if I sent it to the farm, you'd both get it. And I thought he was going to have some bad news.
Right. And it's just a letter.
It's just a letter. So I thought back in season 1, we didn't talk about it, but you see MJ going into the barn, and you don't actually see her in the barn, but you know it's because she's going to look for the alcohol. But I thought back in season 1, she was going to die in the barn, and I was like, oh, that's a little over the top. Right. But no.
They avoid those like cliffs.
Yeah. But there are a few moments throughout where I had been like waiting for something like that, and and that was one of them. He lies. He does. They have one of my favorite moments though, where she says something about a colonic, and he says, "I would never get a colonic," and Sam says, "I would," and then he immediately says, "I would probably try if you wanted me to." Just like he goes right from "I would never get a colonic" to "Well, if you wanted me to, I'd try."
Yeah.
Once again, they're so wrapped up, but the most important thing is that he has lied to Sam, and it's tough because I'm like,
it just feels so bad in that moment though.
Yeah.
And you're like, I get it though. Like, I really do get it. I get why you would want to avoid like knowing Sam and knowing everything she's been saying, no new people, like, you know.
Yeah, but you've put yourself, I know you know this, but in a position where now it's like, well, I know how you would have now. Right. And it's like, I know how you would have reacted, but you didn't give her a chance to not react. And it's something that we learn with the way when we find out about Holly, that's something that like Sam's probably been dealing with forever. Everybody assuming how she's going to react.
She can't handle it.
Because she does always react that way. It's a tough, like, nobody gives her a chance to act differently, but also she's never acted differently. She usually doesn't.
Yeah.
So it's tricky.
But it's rough.
Mm-hmm. He says, "You've got me now," though, when she says, like, there's something to be said for locking it down and going alone. And he says, "You've got me now." Oh.
Yeah. It's sort of the repeated theme of him saying, like, "I'm going to be here for you," and her saying, "No one's going to be here for me."
Right.
You know? And they're having that conversation at each other at the same time, and they're not on the same, like, wavelength.
Exactly.
It goes right into this, actually, in episode 5, where they're talking about weddings, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And what they would want at their weddings.
I was surprised that Sam has imagined her wedding.
Well, this is what I mean about how I think there was a time in her life where she wasn't this closed down and bitter, right? Like, she grew up with an alcoholic mom. I'm sure it wasn't ever easy, but it sounds like they had some good times when they were younger. They sang as a family. She had all of these sort of hopes and possibilities, and then her mom's alcoholism gets worse. She doesn't go to New York City like she wants to. Right. Her sister passes away. Like, you know, things just kind of build and build and build. Mm-hmm. But yeah, she was going to wear her mom's dress, who's like 5'2".
She's like me, my beaver. Yeah. Me, my mom's dress and my beaver walking down the aisle to meet the man of my dreams.
Yep.
Good.
We go to the suit shop with Fred.
Where he doesn't want to get too emo.
No, but this is one of my favorite lines, and it's in a really tough conversation because Joel is still lying to her. Mm-hmm. But when he says he can't do something with her, she says, "So, are we doing like boundaries now?"
But she knows that they have
She's right.
a relationship where there have been none. Yep. So I would be not skeptical. I would be
like suspicious
too.
Yeah. He can't, what it is he can't go help her with the cake, right? Mm-hmm. That she's going to bake for Trisha.
It makes me kind of sad because, like, boundaries now, whatever. And if he had just told her about the date, she probably wouldn't have loved it. But, like, she really was asking for help here with something that she
can't do herself.
So that sucks. Like, you know.
Yeah. And I do think what you were saying about how, like, he didn't give her a chance to react one way or the other is true. Like, if he had in that moment said, like, even if he hadn't admitted it before, in this moment, if he'd said, "I have a date with St. Louis sushi guy," like, she would have probably made fun of him. She probably would have, like, given him shit for, like, you know, the whole no new people thing. But maybe she would have had a moment of grace where she would have realized that you still want to be happy for your friend going on a date.
Right. Yeah. But now she gets to take it personally, and she gets to say, oh, there we go again. I'm always right every time.
Yeah. So she tries to cook by herself, which does not go well.
Listen, I'm not a baker.
The cooking spray thing killed me.
It's so funny.
It's like, how much oil do you need? And she starts spraying it into the bowl. It's very Fold in the Cheese from Schitt's Creek. Mm-hmm. So funny. And it just keeps getting worse. She calls him, and his face is on top of the phone, so she can't see where he is. It's just like deception after it's just like a snowball.
It sucks, like, especially because he feels so bad about it. Mm-hmm. He hates doing it, but he's kind of like backed himself.
He's in a corner. Yeah, he can't admit it now. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, I'm on the phone with you. You need my help. Oh, I lied to you. I'm at a house museum with the guy from the voice lessons.
God. Man, to be on a house museum tour with a social studies teacher, amazing. That's the dream, isn't it?
I know. I honestly, like, the idea of going on a first date to a house museum sounds really fun, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he's being social studies teacher, but in a very cute, sort of flirty way.
Yeah.
Which is a very specific vibe.
Uh-huh.
But he's talking about the person in the photograph. He served on the Kansas House of Representatives, blah, blah, blah. And then what I found out was a Tim Bagley improv line, as was most of the funny stuff from this scene.
Mm.
He says, you want to hear the weird backstory behind this comb? And Joel says, I desperately want to hear it. And he says, okay, well, it was carved out of human bones. Oh my God. By a pack of witches. And Joel says, are you being serious? And he starts laughing and says, no, I made that up. I don't know anything about that comb. So apparently, when they were filming this scene, that Sam and Hannah and Paul just like wanted to keep shooting and shooting and shooting because he was just coming up with more and more like ridiculous improv lines.
I want that montage.
I want the cut so bad.
Uh-huh.
I know. But they're having a sweet date.
They're having a really good first date.
I know. But yeah, so they're having their little flirty conversation. They end up going outside the museum and sitting down again next to each other, like on the bench, like on the porch swing. And they're doing the thing where like neither one wants to try to like seem desperate to make the next plan for them to get together. Mm-hmm. But they start like, I think Brad says, asks if Joel wants to do something in a little bit of time away. And then Joel says, well, I have to eat before then. And like, they kind of keep.
Brad says, I don't want to, it's after they kiss. Yeah. Joel kisses him.
Yeah.
It's so cute. Joel kisses him and Brad reaches out and holds Joel's hand.
Yeah.
It's just the sweetest. I just like, I haven't reacted to an on-screen kiss like that in forever, but I was like kicking my feet because it was just so sweet.
Well, also because up until that point, like after a little while that Brad is receptive to Joel, but you still don't quite know like how receptive.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to tell how open he is.
Yeah, because they don't use the word date. It's like, but then he says, I don't want to go too fast, but do you want to come to the pancake feed with me on Sunday? I don't want to go too fast. It's really, he's joking, but yeah.
But that's when Joel says like, I have to eat before then. And you realize that like, this is going to start moving quickly because they just want to be around each other.
Right. And I love, Brad says like, do you want to go to the chef? Because it's the only place in town.
Yeah.
Like,
but that's again, hammering home the fact that Joel has been deceiving her because that's where they go.
Yep.
And that doesn't take very long to pay off either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Sam has baked something that probably can't be called a cake.
And this felt very me. I know a lot of it does, but her not only doing a bad job of baking the cake, but most especially like hadn't occurred to her that she'd then have to get it to her sisters. So she just slops it into like a Rubbermaid container.
Yeah. It's in like a shoe bin.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so they have what starts out as a nice, evening together.
Oh, this is really rough.
I know. Trisha bought a new fridge.
Mm-hmm. It's a smart fridge.
Yeah, a smart fridge. How does the argument start?
they're talking about Trisha's turning 47, and she says, like, that's when Holly was diagnosed. And then Sam says Holly was diagnosed at 48. And then Trisha does a terrible job playing it off. So Sam realizes something is weird here.
Right.
And so Trisha tells Sam that actually Holly was diagnosed a year earlier and was trying to
cure it naturally,
which Sam says you can't cure cancer naturally. And it turns into a bigger fight. Of course, like, Sam has every right to be heartbroken here.
Right.
But she says, like, why does everybody keep telling me what I can and can't handle? I can handle it. But she says, you must have loved keeping this from me.
Yeah.
She and Trisha go back and forth with that stuff. It reminded me of the scene earlier when Fred and Susan are at Trisha's house. And I don't even know what Sam does wrong there, but they leave and Trisha's like, oh, you must have loved that. Yeah. And it's like, Sam didn't do anything.
No, the two of them just have these roles that they fall back into.
Right. That's exactly, no matter what, they just default right back to it.
Yeah.
And then that's exactly what, and then Trisha says, like, this is what you do, Sam. You cut people out. But I just kind of feel like in this case, I don't know. It's really tough. That is a difficult.
Well, she kind of takes it out on Trish immediately.
Right.
And it's Holly that is the one who, because Trisha's like, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
She wanted to be the one to tell you. Yeah.
But I also understand. I just understand where they're both coming from here. She says, like, this is why you're alone. And then Sam delivers. It's a great line delivery, and it's a great line. She's like, well, guess what? We're both alone. She's like, well, she's kind of right. Then Sam goes home, and Darlene, everybody's just always stopping by places in this little
it's a small town. Everyone's close by.
Yeah. Darlene brings her tape and is again crying.
Yeah.
Because,
I just wrote, Darlene shows up with her tape. Trisha talks to the fridge. Because that's like the next two scenes.
Yeah. And then we
get the reveal. Yeah. Sam goes to Chef to wait for Joel. And is it to wait for Joel? I think so.
Yeah.
And then the waiter gives her his jacket because he was there the day before.
Yeah. Yep.
And that scene with the two of them when he comes home and is trying really hard to like play act.
She's locked the door, so he has to get his keys out. So he knows. I mean, he already knows because he had been at the Chef. I know, brought you a cinnamon roll. Oh, man. Yeah. Take your windbreaker and go. Ooh, look.
It's so harsh. And it's so like, it's exactly what someone like Sam would do, which is completely close everything off immediately. Like turn on a dime and just be like, nope.
Right.
You made a mistake.
Not even talking about it.
It's done. Yeah.
The fact that it is right on the heels of she has just found out that Holly was sick a year before. It is, everything about it is like.
Yeah. I will say, so episode 6 is where the crying started to get me. Because I don't think I cried much in the first. We haven't even really talked about this yet, but maybe we'll do it at the end. The crying notes. Is that where we're doing that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I just want to mention that I have not cried much up until this point. I may have had a few moments where I got a little teary. But episode 6 and 7 really fucked me up this time.
It is.
And I've seen them before. But
there's just
it's
so
the friendship
much
stuff for me.
Yeah.
So, like,
I hate them being apart. I really hate it.
So it starts out with Trisha calling. Like, I do like how they sprinkle in moments of humor, even in the episodes that are really brutal, because you need them so desperately. So Trisha calls Sam for help while Sam is sulking on the couch and laying around. But Trisha actually desperately needs help and is, like, begging.
Yeah.
Because she sold so many cunt pillows.
Her business is booming. I love it.
Yeah. And then Fred shows up in the party bus.
I love Fred so much. I gotta tell you, I love Sam. I understand where she's coming from in so many cases.
You go to the fucking party. It's not about you.
It's not about you.
Yeah.
You don't get to make this one about you. And
Nope.
Fred is such a good sport about it.
I know.
She's like, well, Joel and I aren't talking. And he says, you and I are still talking, right?
Exactly.
And she should have been like, you're right. I'm so sorry.
Yep.
I will be there. You're right. This is your special day.
You go, even if it makes you uncomfortable, even if it makes you sad, like that's not about you.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
You think I haven't been to a wedding where a best friend of mine and I weren't talking and we fucking went and dealt with it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You
suck it up.
Yeah, that really, I was like, this is the one time where I'm really...
It's so in line, though, with that type of personality and that level of maturity around relationships. It's like...
She's so avoidant. And,
yeah.
And if Fred hadn't shown up, there's a chance she never talks to Fred again. Like, if she's I could see her
shut down.
Yeah, so...
And then I'm telling you, and there's a way that Brad is the contrast to Sam, like intentionally, because like now that I'm thinking about this season and the introduction of him, like Joel and Brad are at the pancake breakfast, making little dumb jokes to each other, gossiping about the old ladies.
She's out of control today. Did you see how she came at me?
Yeah, it's so adorable. But what you start to see here is that Brad also understands what's going on with Sam and is giving Joel the space to deal with it.
He's so good about it.
He's so good about
it.
And he's like not sugarcoating anything either.
Yeah,
like
that's right.
When Joel shows Brad the text that he sent Sam about how many steps he'd gotten, Brad's like,
you want her to say to that?
Yeah, it's a good fucking point. It's a good point.
But I do also get, if you're Joel, feeling like you need to tiptoe with Sam. Like, I don't know what...
Like finding some way to test the waters and see if she responds. Sam's car dies because it's Holly's car. Because it's an old car that Sam cannot bear to get rid of because it was Holly's.
Yep, I get it.
Yep.
When Trisha asked her, like, why are you the bike? Did the car break down? She says, no, it just wouldn't start.
Yeah.
Well, Sam, hey, guess what?
Yeah.
Same thing. But yeah.
But we get a moment of levity when she sees all the cunt pillows. Because there's like something that could not delight her more about her sort of prim sister really going for it with this business. Yeah,
I love it too. I love that it's her secret little business because she won't say like the word really, but yeah.
But this is like, I think this is maybe a little crack that we see in Sam's like veneer because she basically like forgives Trisha without it being a huge deal. Like Trisha offers her old car because she realized Sam is holding on to this truck that's not really working anymore. And Sam says something just like, we're okay. Like, because she sees that she's doing it to try to like make things all right, like make amends. So they're kind of, I think it's sweet because they don't make a big deal out of the fact that they had a big fight and Sam is like, oh, it's okay. We're over it. And then they're packing up all these packages of all the cunt pillows and they have a real conversation. Like, Trisha tells Sam what happened with Charity, how she like, commented on her Instagram post and then it got reposted and Trisha asks about Joel and they're kind of like, checking in with each other, which is nice. It's very normal compared to a lot of their other interactions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then she finishes the packages, but Trisha convinces her to try on the suit real quick.
Thank God.
Before she leaves. And it does not fit well.
Nope.
But Trisha's going to fix it.
I like that too. I don't know. Yeah. It was just like they're helping each other out. They're being there for each other. It's nice.
Yeah. It's also very, and this is such a stereotype, but it's very Midwestern. Like that Trisha knows how to sew.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently so does Mary Catherine Gallagher. When they were talking about it, on the interview, the interviewer asked her if she made any of the pillows, and she says, "No, but I could."
I need you to know. I could.
She basically literally said, "I need you to know I can sew. I can make." She said, "I think she literally said like I can make the fuck out of a pillow or something like that."
I was love like, that.
That's right.
That rules.
We get now we get the party bus.
Yeah, and also. Fred is too good. The fact that he sent Sam a video to say like we miss you, I would have.
I know. I would not have had that in me.
No, I wouldn't have.
Also, I love the little bits and pieces we get of Irma fucking kill me.
Irma is incredible. What
an amazing, like, barely there character that just is the center of attention when she is.
Yeah, she's going nuts on that party bus.
Yeah. And it's funny, when you first see that Sam watch that video, you think she's going to get up and go.
Yes, that's
right. It looks like she's going to. Like, that she's kind of seen, I really shouldn't have, I really should have been there. I'm going to go meet them. It's a small town. I can get there, whatever. Nope.
It's almost the reverse of what I said. It is just like the show feels so real that, like, sometimes you think something bad is going to happen and it doesn't. And, like, you just...
The next scene is where I really started to lose it.
Oh, it is. I mean, sobbing. It is
because, like,
so
I've had
tough.
those conversations.
Yeah.
So Fred and Sam are meeting up for ice cream.
Which Joel knows.
Yes. And Joel shows up. And it is so avoidant attachment and not even anxious attachment. I wouldn't put that on Joel because I think that he is more secure than that.
Oh, yeah.
But he is, what got me in it was, like, they're going back and forth. Sam is saying, like, you have a fucking boyfriend. You don't think I can handle it, so you just don't tell me.
It's when she says, do you have any idea how stupid that makes me feel? That's it right there. She's ashamed because it makes her, exactly. Like,
and then she says,
that's what it's really about.
Because he says something about how, like, he also needs, like, a romantic connection. And she says, I don't want you to be my boyfriend, Joel. I just don't want you to leave me.
There's like a million lines in this one because she also, even before that, he says, she says, first my sister, now you.
Yeah.
And he says, what happened with your sister? And she says, you don't get to know.
That. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. And just that his reaction right away is concern.
She's so hurtful towards him in this scene. And that was, I think, what really got me because it is exactly the whole, like, hurt people thing. She's lashing out at him in a way that he does not deserve. Like, he deserves to have to apologize for not being honest with her. He does not deserve her being outright mean to him intentionally, like, in the way that she knows will really hurt him.
It's just tough.
And then the line that really got me, he says, I just wanted to talk. And she says, well, we talked. Are you happy? And Jeff Hiller, this is why he won that fucking Emmy, even though it wasn't for this season.
He's a perfect crier.
He says, with a crack in his voice as he turns away from her, no.
The way he, like...
And how any human being with a heart in their chest doesn't run after him and be like, I'm so sorry. Like,
I'm so sorry,
please don't
Jeff
cry.
Hiller.
Please don't cry, Jeff Hiller. Like, you are perfect. Because the thing he's never been shy about or ashamed of is how he feels about her, how he loves her, and how easily she hurt him.
That's right.
In that moment, without any concern for what she has to know is going to be the impact on him.
Right. Absolutely.
She doesn't care. It's not in her. It's not in her mind at all. She's just lashing out. And then, guess what? There's another shoe. Darlene.
And again, the first time I saw this, I was like, that's fucking out of nowhere. What the hell? But watching it this time, I was like, no, Darlene knows, even if the rest of us don't, which is a really cool thing that, like, people's lives are just happening around everybody on this show.
Exactly.
And it,
yeah.
So when it rains, it pours sometimes. Sometimes that's real. But it is brutal that this happens like this.
I also love
that it's Joel has to be like, well...
I also love that it happens right after she's had a moment of, like, because she's, like, throwing her ice cream at the real estate sign.
Yeah.
But yeah, Darlene is dead.
Oh, so sad.
So she goes into the house, or she's about to, and she sees Drew. Finds out it wasn't fentanyl, thankfully.
Yes, thank God.
He was growing weed in the basement.
She says, if I'd known that, I would have introduced myself a lot sooner, or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. The flirtation is back. It's a little more tentative now, but it's there. This is when she goes in and sings Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. And I keep bringing up that interview, but it was, like, a lot of stuff right from season 1 and going into season 2. But Hannah was talking about how she and Paul had kind of had been in the same performance scene with Bridget and had seen her shows a bunch and seen her, like, really performative body persona, but they talked about how Hannah talked specifically about how the thing she thought was so amazing about Bridget Everett and her performances is that she could go from being this aggressive, loud body performer to having a very sort of sad, sincere moment on stage. She literally in that interview talks about how the moment where she saw Bridget Everett on stage go into that like sad, sweet persona was when she was singing Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. And so I think that's why it's in the show.
Yeah. I love that it is a weird choice otherwise. Like, I also love that scene so much. This show, and it makes sense, especially knowing that, it's not afraid of quiet or to take its time. Like, that scene is pretty long considering, and it like takes a while before she even starts singing. I love how patient this show can be. Totally. Especially for a show that is such a 3.5 hours a season. Like,
yeah. When they were talking about it, I think Jeff Hiller said something like, the whole season together is shorter than some Oscar movies.
Yeah. Yeah. I really was like, oh, I'll start rewatching this yesterday. I was like, I'll watch it the other day. And like, I was done in 3 hours. Like, episode 7.
Yep. Episode 7.
It starts with a funeral and it ends with a wedding.
Yeah, that's pretty great. It also, I cried at least 4 or 5 times in this episode.
Oh, this is a pretty unbroken cry. It is, yeah.
I mean, even for me, I couldn't hold it together. Like, so many moments. So we're at Darlene's funeral, which again is a good way to start because, it would take something like this to get past Sam's pride.
Yeah, yes.
And Joel, just like unabashedly missing Sam, just walks up and sits down with her.
Yeah. Well, and I was so relieved when he walks up that she lets him. She slides over to give him room. Like, he doesn't ask. She just does it. And was like, oh, thank God, Sam, please.
Yeah. Because it's like, you could see her just holding on to that for so much longer. But, the situation being so serious, I think, kind of pushes that along.
I wish she'd sang the song. It really makes me so sad that she doesn't sing with them.
I know. But I cried when she let him sit down. I cried when everyone stood up and sang together. They're like kind of talking in the pew and she says she's sorry.
Which was,
And then he's so fucking relieved immediately.
And he says, oh God, it's perfect. I love it. He says like, I miss you. And she just, I know. Yeah. And he like kind of makes a face and kind of laughs. Yeah. He's like, okay. You can tell that it's like, oh, they're going to be okay.
They're starting to get back on that routine. They make some plans to work on the wedding stuff together.
It's another great Brad moment because she's trying to extend the olive branch, which is great. I was so happy she did it. She's like, Brad, you could come too. And he's like, I have papers to grade. So graceful. So I
literally wrote, Brad gracefully backs out of the plan. He's observant. He sees where he needs to be to like make this work for Joel. So then Joel shows up at the house.
This was my most unlikely cry of this season, I think. And it didn't get me the first time because I was too busy crying about everything else. Yeah. But this time I was like taking notes and that Sam has gotten snacks and put them out in bowls. And, like there's no way they've ever done that before.
Nope.
But she's like nervous, and then Joel has also brought snacks just in case. Like it's just so like they're trying to repair this relationship and feeling still a little awkward.
They're like tentative around each other.
How many times have I said about the show? It just felt so real that moment.
And Sam apologizes again, and this is like.
It's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It's hard for her. Like, she's really struggling with it, but it's a good one. I was so proud of her.
Yep. And he says, Sam, I love you. And she says, don't do that. He says, don't do that face. Just listen to me. I love you. And she says, thank you. And she says, I think Brad's a really nice guy, Joel. And I really am happy for you. I am. And he says, thank you. And it's this really sweet moment.
Yeah, and she says, like, I make up all these rules for people.
Yes.
I think it's to keep me safe, but it doesn't. And she says, like, I don't want to do that anymore, and it's your fault.
Yeah.
It's like...
Yep.
I can't imagine how difficult it was for her to get all of that out. Like,
and it's pretty self-aware. Like, you can see that, like, how much being around him, someone who is so good at articulating his feelings, has rubbed off on her.
Totally. And then this show's just so good at bringing it back.
This is the best part.
Why did you shave your legs?
She says, because I'm going to fuck my neighbor. And he says, the drug dealer? She says, yes.
And she gives a little curtsy. Yes. Yeah. It's perfect.
Yep. And then we have the wedding, which again, I cried a whole bunch.
I cried the whole time. It's so lovely. I love a mix and mingle. I love seeing people who've never met before meet each other, and on shows where I'm like, oh, I know all of these people, but you don't all know each other. It's really cute.
We get to see Trisha's reaction to Sam forgiving Joel. You can see that she's like, okay.
Yeah, yep. Again, I love this show because, like, Trisha's come around so much, but sometimes she can't fucking help herself still.
Yeah.
Because she's like, I'm like, you didn't have to say, like, Sam knows she doesn't always let people in. She knows she's not always great at sharing. You don't have to say it. Just let, but yeah, Trisha's still Trisha. She can't help it.
Yep.
And she says, like, what about Holly? Have you forgiven her?
Yeah. Joel and Brad pick up Sam for the wedding. Mm-hmm. And they have a little moment of seeing her interact with Drew. Yeah. And being like, we saw that. Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of...
He says, like, if you ever want to have a beer sometime. That's important. That's so important for this episode.
Yes. There's a bunch of sort of prep stuff happening. Mm-hmm. Trisha is, like, running the show. Caterers are late. All that stuff. They go... So, Sam and Joel go to talk to Fred, who is staring off at the field. And, are like, it's time. Try to bring him over. And then, I don't know if there's anything before that, but then Sam sings.
Yeah, and she does such a good job.
And I cried again.
And
then Joel gives his speech, and I cried again.
And they both do such a good job. It's beautiful. I know.
And again, like, the thing about Joel that I think opens Sam up so much is just how open he is with his own emotions. Mm-hmm. And in that speech he is as well.
I mean, not to whatever, but are people tired of hearing me say that I've worked with therapists? Like, I've listened to therapist podcasts every day for 3 years now. And so if you ask somebody what the best thing you can do for a kid for developing their mental health is, mental health awareness, is teach them how to identify and describe their feelings.
Yep.
And Sam obviously doesn't know how to do that until she meets Joel, who is a fucking pro at it. And so, of course, seeing that modeled is going to make up for, MJ wasn't saying, like, oh, that must have been really hard. You must have been really scared. That's okay. That's a scary feeling. She's never heard that.
Not one time.
So, of course... it's a bit of a learning curve, but she's trying.
She is.
At least.
She is trying. Mm-hmm.
And he gives this beautiful
speech. Mm-hmm. And then they get married, and they go into the barn for the reception, which looks like a lot of fun. Again. And then we cry again because Fred gives the Ed speech.
Oh, God. And if my friend were here today, he'd be my best man. Oh, my God.
And then everyone in that room, when they were filming this, we're all thinking about Mike Haggerty.
Of course.
And it's like, it's their saying goodbye to the actual person who played that role when they say to Ed.
Yeah, it's almost like that speech wouldn't have made sense if Michael Haggerty were still alive. You know? Like, it's so clearly there's something more going on there.
Yeah. Trisha and Sam have a really sweet moment where Trisha says, like, I forgot what your singing can do to me. And, like, there's such a bittersweet feeling about the end of this episode. Like, it should be sort of triumphant because Sam gets up and sings Gloria, Joel's dancing.
Which is the song that Joel said, like, he would have at his wedding.
Yeah. Trisha is, like, has this successful event under her belt. Fred is married. Joel is there with Brad. Everything seems great.
I was ready for credits to roll.
Yeah.
Joel, when she's singing Gloria, Joel gets so excited he has to take his jacket off.
I know.
It made me laugh so hard. But
apparently in real life, like they got into Murray Hill and Bridget got into Jeff Hiller's car to go to like brunch or something while they were filming it because they were all living in the house together. Mm-hmm. And he had this like playlist that he'd made for himself that he called like Yas Girl. And one of the songs on it was Gloria, and he like turned the car on and it blasted out of the speakers. And he was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And started turning it down. And they were like, no. And they started singing.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah. But no, that's not the end of it. And I think it's significant that as much as Sam has grown, she can't fully celebrate the connections she has with these people in the moment. She goes off by herself to the bar, is drinking. Joel comes over.
It's a lot. Like, she's made some strides, and I get that.
But it's so much emotional stuff happening for her that she starts to a little bit shut down, or at least not shut down, but like realize she needs a bit of a moment to kind of process.
That's right.
But the melancholy of that really struck me, because you would think that it would end on this triumphant note. And instead you see that there's not a quick answer. Like, she has made progress. Things are better with her and Joel. Like, things are good for a lot of people around her, but there's still this undercurrent of like, a lot of stuff is not okay still.
Right. Of course. Yeah.
But I love that they ended on a funny note instead of a triumphant note or a sad note. It's just got to be silly.
Joel does say, though, at some point, I forget exactly when it happens, but he does say we're going to be okay, which is what he said to her in the garage for Zumba. I love that that's just like his little Joel refrain. They're going to be okay.
Well, I think he knows he needs to reassure her of that more than he would with someone else, you know?
Yeah.
That like he needs to continually remind her that he's not going anywhere.
Right. Yeah.
But then,
oh my God, Jodie, this got me.
It's so funny.
The laugh that both times, it is so good.
Yeah. They drop off Sam, Brad, and Joel, and they're like kind of waiting to see if she's going to go next door. And she just pretends to go inside. They drive away, and she drunkenly talking to herself the whole time.
Come have a beer.
Yeah. Like whispering at his house, walking up the sidewalk, and eventually takes off a shoe, breaks a window.
And then does so
hard. And then she does like a Marx Brothers or like Abbott and Costello physical comedy.
She cannot figure out what to do.
She starts to walk away, realizes she left her shoe, goes back. Like, it's just
so funny.
Yeah. And then she runs home.
That's another thing. I don't know if there would have been more to that if they knew they were going to get more than the third season or not. But I like, not to spoiler alert, it doesn't come up in season 3.
No. It's such a funny way to end it.
Oh, it's so good. I love it so much.
Yeah.
So that's,
It's funny. Because I watched the seasons as they aired, I think in my mind, season 2 was a bit of a dip, not in how much I liked the show, but just in like what I remembered of it. I think because season 3 was really impactful, I guess. It like kind of superseded the previous season in my head. But this is a great season.
Yeah.
And I thought it was at the time. I just like, I think because it was a while ago, I'd forgotten.
Well, and the show is just so strong all around, though, that it's like, I don't know. What's my... Oh, that last episode is even called To Ed. What a strong season.
I know. Episode 6 and 7 really got me. I think that...
It's like relentless feelings in those last 2 episodes.
Well, and the friendship stuff was really, like, as someone who is neurodivergent and did not understand relationships, especially friendships, for most of my young adult life, the number of dramatic friend breakups that I had where I was in the wrong and did not know it and was, like, brutal to other people around me because of it. Like, it was hard to watch for that reason as well, because I just identified so hard with her, like, lashing out at the people around her because of how much hurt she was carrying around with her. And, like, watching what it did to the people that care about her was, like, rough. Let's just say that. But, yeah, much better. I mean, not that I thought it was a bad season in my memory, but I really forgot how much I liked a lot of what happened and how like touching a lot of it was.
It's definitely for me the most difficult season for all of those reasons you said, and maybe that's why. Maybe you were protecting yourself a little bit from it.
Probably. I had forgotten about all the moving mom stuff or moving mom around stuff because this did come out after I was in this phase of my life where I'm dealing with caretaking.
Right.
So I do think it's possible that I blocked out some of what was happening this season.
Yeah, it's tough stuff.
I also somehow managed to block out the fact that his name was Ed until like I rewatched the first season, which is my father's name. Like,
so funny.
Yeah. But I'm excited to watch season 3.
Me too.
I haven't rewatched these until we're like doing it that week. So I haven't gotten into season 3 again yet.
It's very good, Jodie, if you can believe it. It's a great season.
Yeah, it's a good thing you told me that. I'd never know anything about this show.
I can't believe it's just done, though.
Yeah, I know. But I think, do we want to tell folks what we're doing that's a little different next week? Because I think it's kind of fun.
Yeah. So next week, something that I've been wanting to do, actually, and it just kind of lined up that it made sense this season, is I really like the idea of maybe bringing in some people who can speak to the parts of it that, we joke that we're qualified therapists. We're not.
We're qualified in all the wrong ways.
Yeah. But it just so happens that one of my other 2 podcasts I work on, This Helps, is hosted by a licensed therapist named Marlon Morgan,
who's going to come on and help us get past our childhood trauma.
That's right.
We're going to have a live therapy session with the 2 of us and the real therapist.
Great. Yeah. He's a therapist and also has told me that Somebody Somewhere is his favorite show as well. And so I've been looking for a reason to invite him on because he is lovely and he's right between your age and my age, Jodie. So he likes a lot of the same stuff we do. Listeners, you guys are going to love him. He's just a very genuine person who also loves the show and hopefully, can help Jodie and I move past some stuff.
To be clear, he's going to come on and talk about the show.
Yeah. But I do love the idea of him coming on and talking about this show as like
through that lens.
Yeah. And I jokingly said like group therapy for us, but also just like kind of like as a grief expert in that way.
Yeah.
So he'll have, it's going to be fun. I'm excited. If you want to get a little feel for him, you could go listen to, I'm trying to think of what would be a good one for you guys to check out. 2 episodes ago is a live episode with Rainn Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
We've got 2 episodes with Gethard. One with Gethard, an early one with Chris Gethard and Gary Goldman talking about comedy and mental health. So that would be a good one. But really just poke around, find a name of someone you like, maybe. He's great. It's going to be fun. I'm excited. We haven't had a guest on in a minute.
It's the only time we have any men around here, so.
That's right.
They only are allowed to be guests.
Yeah, we're very picky about them. And I have one other little thing for us before we say goodbye.
Hi, Andrea and Jodie. I don't really have anything salient to add to your current discussions, but I just want to say that I grew up in the South, and I didn't know anything about New Jersey until I listened to this podcast. And I have to say, New Jersey sounds like a fucking delight. All I wanted to do when I was a teenager was explore scary woods where you could get lost and abandoned mental institutions and eat blueberries. And we don't really have, we have blueberries in the South in stores, but we don't have those other things really. And it's just, I'm kind of jealous of you guys. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Thanks for the great podcast.
Aww.
Love it. Keep it up. Bye.
That's so sweet.
That made me so happy. Thank you so much for such a fun voicemail. You should come eat blueberries and explore some abandoned stuff in Jersey.
We're glad that you recognize the superiority of our state.
I'm just glad that we're such good ambassadors that people are starting to really
especially because growing up, I could not wait to get the fuck out. And now my nostalgia for it is out of control.
It's so funny. Yeah. So thank you so much for that voicemail. I'm so happy that people are calling in and
I know. Please keep doing that. It's so fun to hear your actual voices.
I know. It's been thrilling. I just kind of assumed that everybody listening was from Jersey, and so that we've had someone from Australia and someone from the South so far.
That's so good. Yeah.
Yeah. So give us a call, 856-336-8986. And whatever you want to share. Yeah. Again, last week I said I'd love to know the first time you kind of saw yourself represented on screen. We're going to talk about that next week.
With Marlon, great.
With Marlon, for sure. So if you guys have other examples in your own lives, we'd love to hear those as well.
In the meantime, I have one little thing that one little shout out I'd like to give.
Yeah.
Because it fits so well with this somebody somewhere thesis of dreams don't have deadlines. Shout out to my dear friend Heather Flock, who tonight hosted a reading of a play that she wrote when she was a young lady that has been sitting in wait for her for years and is working with actors in New York. And I watched the rehearsal for it on Saturday.
That's so cool.
And I've never been more proud of just not letting go of the things that give you life, regardless of how long it's been. Because, if you're an artist, you're an artist. It doesn't matter how long you wait to get back to something.
DDHD.
Exactly. Dreams don't have deadlines. That's right. LL Cool J. He's also born on Long Island. I don't know if I knew that.
Well, he's representing Queens, and she was raised out in Brooklyn. So, I don't know.
That's going to do it for us tonight. It is night on our end right now, and I have to work tomorrow, as does Andrea. But I'm glad that we got this in.
Go watch Pluribus. I'm not saying we're going to cover it at any point, but I've been watching it. I think it's great. It's really fun.
Rhea Seehorn is amazing. I watched the first two. I've got a third one waiting for me that I didn't get to watch this weekend.
Oh, same, actually. But yeah, the first two. Watch that pilot. Get to the last 5 minutes. If you love the last 5 minutes, you'll like the second episode a lot too. So maybe we'll talk about it. Maybe we won't. Who knows? But that's my recommendation for
fantastic.
Tonight. Email us. I almost gave my actual email address. watcherspodnj@gmail.com. Instagram, watcherspodnj. Again, you've got the phone number. Call us. That's the thing I really want. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple if you like.
You can find me on Instagram at Jodie_Mim, JODIE_MIM. And until next week. Oh, wait. Where can they find you personally on Instagram? Your dog's
why
pictures?
Did I panic?
I don't know.
I don't know.
AQ Andrea Q.
Thank you. That AQ Andrea Q.
And until next week, bang yourself in the head, get in the car, go to New Jersey.
Go to New Jersey.
I think I got it right that time.
Yeah, you crushed it.
Nice.